Hello and welcome to my video today. I'm going to be showing how to remove the rear bumper of the car to access the connectors that are on the left and right sides of the bumper area. Removing the bumper is kind of a pain, but it makes it much easier to access those connectors so that we can waterproof them. So I'm going to show how to take it off, how to waterproof those connectors, and then put it back on. So let's get started. Here are the tools and supplies you'll be needing for this project today. A ratchet wrench with an 8mm and 10mm sockets. A combination box wrench with an 8mm size because some of the bolts on the wheel well are hard to get to. We also have some trim clips, so I recommend getting a metal trim removal tool like this one, and also to help remove some sections of the trim and bumper cover, this plastic pry bar is helpful too. Also recommend work gloves, rubber gloves. For cleaning the connectors, I recommend either this QD electronic cleaner. You may need some canned air to blow out any debris that are in the connectors. Also, a flathead pliers like this one is handy for pulling out the connectors because they are attached to the body by the fir tree clips, those little plastic clips that have like edges that grab and mount into an opening. So this is helpful for removing those. Also, for the actual weather sealing, recommend a pair of scissors for trimming. I used silicone tape. You could also use butyl sealing tape, which also works well for waterproofing. And then wrapping either of these in wire loom. This will protect the outer area because these tend to be sticky, so you don't want anything to get on them. So putting this adds an extra layer of protection over the water seal. So that's what you need. So let's go out to the car and get started. I'm by the left rear wheel well area, and we have this section that we're gonna have to remove. This is called the Fender Cladding. There are 6 8mm bolts that hold this into place. One right here, 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 and then 2 more down there. So I'm going to use my ratchet with the 8mm socket on it to remove all of these. If you do have mud flaps, you need to take those off as well. This area here is kind of tight to work with, so if you have a shallow socket wrench like this or a box wrench, combination wrench with an 8mm setting, use that. Now we can take this piece off. Carefully unsnap all the clips. You don't need to totally remove this. You can leave this hanging like this. That's fine. For the bumper cover, there are 2 trim clips, one here and one underneath. So let me take this one out first. I like using these metal trim clip removers. You just put it in between the top part here, and then you just pull it out, and then go underneath, and the whole thing comes right out. I'm going to repeat everything I just did on the right side of the car. This bolt on the far inside here is kind of tight, so depending on how tight you have it, you may want to use the combination wrench to reach that area, since it is very, very tight back there. And now for the bumper cover itself, there is 1 trim clip on each side. There's also 4 10mm bolts. There's one here, one here, one here, and one here. So let me go underneath and remove those now. Next, I'm directly underneath the license plate area. There's 2 10mm bolts that are inset here and here. Here we go. So we have all 2 of the clips holding it in place removed from the bottom, and then we have the 4 10mm bolts removed as well. All right, at this point I have both the fender trim here loosened on this side and this side. I have all the bolts taken out. I don't know if I need to take off the hitch receiver cover. I'm gonna take it off just in case. Shouldn't really make a difference. This part here will pop off. I'm also going to raise the lift back. So at this point, I'm going to use the plastic pry bars and gently pull up the bumper all the way from this corner to the center. And I'm gonna take a look at the connectors in this area that I need to weatherproof. Okay, I'm gonna put this stool underneath to keep this supported. Here you can see the connector right here. This is one we're going to take apart and inspect. This is connected to the structure with a little clip here, one of those fir tree clips. I'm gonna try to remove it so I have better access. Here's a better look at the connector. Take a look inside. This one looks dry. I don't see any issues, but in any case, I'm still going to use a little bit of canned air just to clear out any possible dust in here. And here's what the other side looks like. Don't see any issues at all with this. Just giving a quick clean out. Now, if you did see moisture in here and rust deposits, I would suggest cleaning it with isopropyl alcohol using either a Q-tip or some other way to clean it up. And then also use some electronics cleaner. Now, that's also not a bad idea either. But this is looking pretty good, so I am going to reconnect it. And the clip goes on the outside and the red goes in the inside, like that. Make sure it fully seats. Press the red tab down. I have butyl tape and also a silicone tape. Really doesn't matter. Then when you're done, use a wire wrap to cover it up so it covers any of the stickiness. So when you wrap the silicone all the way from the base of where the wires come out of this, all the way up to the top, go as far as you can, then press down on the silicone so it seals. Also, by pulling on it, you're engaging the silicone. Once this is all done here, then we can take some wire wrap and then cover the whole thing in wire wrap. So I wrapped it in the silicone tape, and then I followed that up with wire loom tape covering it. So a double layer on here. Just make sure you go through all of it. Overlap about half to 2/3 as you're going through so that everything is sealed. Then press down to make sure everything is nice and tight. And if you notice, I went all the way from the wire loom that was existing all the way up and inside here to where it meets behind the fender here. So this is now sealed. I can now take it, since I still have this fir tree thing here, I can push this in and that will snap into place, and we are good with the right side. Now for the left side. Okay, here we are on the left side. We have a connector here, here, and here. So there are 4 on this side. One warning is this one in this corner here is going to be really tough to get to. It's in a very tight location here. I'm going to do my best to get this wrapped. All right. This one looks pretty good. Snap it back into place. All right, so a pair of flathead pliers helped get this guy out. And like the other one, you press the tab at the top here, and then it will slide off. So like this. Like that. Take a look inside. It's looking pretty good. I'm just gonna air out all of these. And then I can reconnect these two again. All right, I'm going to move that out of the way so I can access this one. Oh, that one came out pretty easy. Not a whole lot of cable length here to work with. It's pretty tight. But in any case, I'm still going to take it off. As you can see, that little tab up here, I'm going to press up. There we go. Press the tab in the middle, and it should come apart. Let's have a good look in here. It is looking clean. I don't see any issues with either side. All right, so I'm going to put it back together again. All right, it is fully attached now. So I'm going to wrap this from the wires at this end to the wires at the other end. I fully wrapped this connector here, and then I just kind of push it back into its position. Its little opening is right here, so I'm going to snap it in place. Now I'm going to do this guy. All right, and then this one goes back into its spot right there. So 1, 2, 3. Last one is right here. All right, so this one is now off. Actually, let me, yeah, that's good. Like that. Looking clean in here. Don't see any issues. All right, so I'm going to reattach, snap, put in place. I don't have any more silicone tape for this connector, so I'm going to use the butyl tape, which is that white sticky compound like this. So let me start installing that one. So we have the last connector done. We pop back into the opening. So here we go. We have 1 connector, 2 connector, 3 connector, 4. Plus the one all the way on the right. So that's 5 connectors in the rear bumper area. This is now complete. I would check to make sure that everything is working in the car before we close up the bumper. So I'm going to go over and start the car up and see if there's any issues. Well, you can hear from the beeping that the ultrasonic sensors are working, and also the rear camera is working. So far so good. No errors. So I'm going to close up the bumper. All right, I'm going to put the bumper back into its original position. Take the top of the bumper and rest it on this metal trim plate right here. Like that. Line up the corners and then press in. Get all the clips in place. All right, make sure everything lines up and then start inserting all the bolts and clips. Push the tabs back into place. And then the last 2 bolts go right here and here. One of the trickier things to do when you're putting everything back together are the 2 trim clips on either side of the bumper. I found that when I was pushing this in, it was also pushing on the fabric underneath and it wasn't lining up correctly. So I found it easier to hold the trim clip tool so it pushes, if I insert that, so it pushes the fabric down, and while holding it down, then I would push the trim clip in, and then it attaches to both the bumper and the fabric. So just so you know, if you don't do that, this will be wobbly, so you'll know you need to do it again. It needs to be solid, and both pieces don't move after you install and push in the end of that trim clip. All right, I have the bumper back in the original position. Everything is working. Really not that bad of a job to remove the bumper. It probably does help to have 2 people do it, but I managed to do it fine just with 1 person. I made sure that I weatherproofed all 5 connectors, 1 on this side and 4 on that side. Probably the best way to access them is to remove the bumper. Some of them, I don't know of any other way you could reach them. One of them you could get if you went through the left rear wheel well and pulled back the fabric lining on it. You probably could get one of them, but you couldn't get all 4 of those. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.